Some of us sometimes feel defensive, and we say, it's not up to us and for us to impose anything on anyone else. It's not nice to impose our values on other people. That's an argument you often hear from liberals and even from some non-liberals. That argument, though, is false for several reasons. Number one, we are not imposing anything on anyone. We are preserving traditional American values. The values we are pushing for, the biblical values, are the values that animated this country for 250 years. We are simply trying to preserve everything that is traditionally American. They are the ones who are trying to impose external values on us. We're not the ones imposing values. They are. That's number one. We are preserving American values. Number one. Number two, this notion that we are imposing values, unless you live in a purely libertarian society, one group of people will always be, in a certain way, imposing their values on another group of people. In a purely libertarian society, there are no laws at all. There is no police force. There's no government. Everyone does what they want. But that is the more radical, let's say, libertarian position. Even in a conservative libertarian society, one group of people is imposing their values on another group of people. What do I mean? In a conservative libertarian society, there is a police force, an army, and there's a court system, and there are laws against violence and force, but only against violence and force. In other words, no murder, no stealing, no hitting somebody in the face, but that's it. Those are the only laws in the book. Now, even there, you are imposing your values on somebody else. Supposing person A murders person B, you're going to lock him up and throw him in jail for the rest of his life. Who are you, though, to lock him up in a jail in a 6x6 for the rest of his life? Who are you to deny him his freedom? Because you say murder is wrong? Who says murder is wrong? He thinks murder is right. Who are you to impose your value of the sanctity of life? You think all lives are precious and holy. Who says, though? You are imposing your views of the sanctity of life on him, and because of your views, you're going to lock him up in prison for the rest of his life. The same thing if he robs a bank. You're going to send him in jail because you think it's wrong to rob property. Who says it's wrong? I don't care if 99.9% of society thinks it's wrong. You are still imposing your values on that 0.01% that thinks it's right. So we are always imposing values. The law always imposes values, and that's even in a conservative libertarian society. All the more so in today's society. Values are embedded in the law across the board. Take just a few examples. You can't run down naked Fifth Avenue. Why not? There are laws against public indecency. But who says it's indecent? You think it's indecent. He doesn't think it's indecent. You are imposing your values on him. In the tax laws, you get tax credits for giving charity. You get tax credits for being married, tax credits for having children. Who says marriage is valuable? Who says having children is valuable? Who says giving charity is valuable? We give taxes to support a welfare state. Who says a welfare state is valuable? Who says it's valuable to give money to the poor? All of these are values that one part of society is imposing on other people. There might be people who don't believe in giving charity, and yet you are forcing them to pay taxes. That is imposing your values on them. So don't let anybody ever tell you that by pushing biblical values and traditional moral values, that you are imposing your values on other people. The law always has values inherent in it, and it's just a question of which values are in the law. Your values or anti-godly values. We are fighting to preserve the values that propped up this country for 250 years. They're trying to impose values that the world has not seen since the dawn of creation. Do not feel guilty.